Friendship Association, I am calling for the diplomatic boycott of the 2022 Olympic Games in Beijing. Violations of international human rights law cannot be ignored under the pretext of Chinese domestic laws and affairs. The Tibetan question is a systemic problem affecting Tibet, or a transnational issue, one that cannot be considered as a mere internal matter for China. The use of various forms of violence has become systematic, being deployed to sanction dissidents and independent thinkers, to frighten citizens, and to silence witnesses. Yet, as quoted Thomas Büchli, president of the Swiss Tibetan Friendship Association, the International Olympic Committee has shown itself to be in transition in the face of massive international criticism of the awarding of the 2022 Winter Olympics to Beijing and the further deterioration of the human rights situation in China. In 2008, China already pretended to commit itself to the European key values, which include the protection of human rights and human dignity, but the CCP did not honor its commitments. Tibetans stood up for their rights and freedoms as the world prepared to celebrate the Olympic Games. Their plea for help to the international community was suppressed by the Chinese authorities with mass violence. Tibetans and Tibet itself were further walled in with silence as repression intensified. Today, the human rights situation remains of significant concern. There are currently more than 5,000 political prisoners in Tibet, of whom more than 1,000 are in detention. Of these political prisoners, nearly 3,000 are from religious backgrounds. Past and ongoing violence is denied by the Chinese authorities with disconcerting impunity. The collective amnesia imposed by the party denigrates the memory of the victim and the suffering of Tibetans. It allows physical and psychological violence to persist and even makes it likely that new mass violence will occur in Tibet, but also against other communities in the territories that China considers its own. The Swiss Tibetan Friendship Association has worked in cooperation with other Swiss Tibetan organizations to lodge a complaint against the International Olympic Committee in July 2021, which was accepted by the National Contact Point of the OECD, but the International Olympic Committee refused to enter into any mediation proceedings. By choosing to overlook the serious human rights violation in China, the International Olympic Committee is complicit of the abuses committed against civilians. The diplomatic boycott of the Olympic Games in Beijing is a powerful message, a constant willingness to choose life and well-being of the people, to support them and fight for those whose lives are threatened. Tibetans strive for the right to exist as fully fledged individuals and to express their cultural identity without fear of persecution. Efforts must continue to advocate for human rights in China, particularly when it comes to issues of freedoms of expression, religion, assembly, and of movement, in order to secure sustainable peace that would benefit both Tibet and China. Le boycott diplomatique des Jeux Olympiques de Pékin est un message fort, une volonté inébranlable de choisir la vie et le bien-être d'un peuple et de le soutenir, de se battre pour ceux dont la vie est menacée. Les Tibétains luttent pour leur droit d'exister en tant qu'individus à part entière et d'exprimer leur identité culturelle sans crainte de persécution. Les efforts doivent se poursuivre pour défendre les droits humains en Chine, notamment en ce qui concerne les libertés d'expression, de religion, de réunion et de mouvement, afin de garantir une paix durable qui en profiterait à la fois au Tibet mais également à la Chine. Bodhgyalo.